You're listening to God Can I Hold a Dollar, the podcast brought to you from Reset Budgeting and Financial Coaching with Janine Victor McDade, owner and principal consultant. The podcast that bridges real world conversations, no shame, no shade, and the word of Christ all in one. Hello, good people. Welcome to God Can I Hold a Dollar. If you are new here, my name is Janine Victor McDade. I am the owner and founder of Reset Budgeting and Financial Coaching and Reset Bookkeeping. And hey, y'all, it's been a minute since I've done a actual video podcast, but shout out to Alitu, who is the podcast platform that I use. They have enhanced um, this product advancement to be able to include video. So today's podcast, you're going to be able to see my wonderful face. Now, normally I'd be on here with makeup and the lips and all of that. No, we're just going to talk about the real today. We're just going to talk about the information. We're going to get in and get out and give you some value today. So first of all, I hope that you all have been blessed. I hope that you've been well. I cannot believe it's October. And even more than that, I can't believe that we're almost out of October. This is a busy season in my business. It's a busy season on my W-2. It's just a busy season all around. It's my birthday month. So a lot of stuff going on. My mother's birthday month. So looking forward to celebrating with her in the coming week or so. But there's also a lot of things going on with finances and with movement for Reset. So first of all, I just want to give a shout out to Patrice Washington. Patrice Washington invited me to visit her mastermind and speak about bookkeeping and the importance, the value, and the partnership when it comes to finding a great bookkeeper. There's bookkeepers out there, right? But then there are bookkeepers that really take to heart partnering with their businesses, partnering with small business owners, helping them see the value, see the strategy of how they're managing their business so that they can utilize the information that you get from your bookkeeping to make strategic decisions going forward, to forecast, to make decisions on whether to invest further into an area in their business or pull back. Look for seasonal trends. There's a lot of different things that a good bookkeeper can help small businesses do. And so I pride myself on partnering and providing that level of customer service to my clients. So shout out to my bookkeeping clients who, trust me with managing and reconciling and keeping track of their expenses so that they are ready for tax time and they are in compliance with what it is that they need to do for their business. So really, once again, I just want to thank Patrice again. Thank you for being willing to go ahead and, invite me in based on just a conversation that we had, but it was such a God-based, God-ordained, God-connected conversation. If some of you all remember, and I think I mentioned this on this podcast, I met Patrice at one of my work events in Vegas and just saw her and just was like, she's gorgeous, but didn't put two and two together until she said her name, and that name just resonated with me. And I put two and two together. It was like, oh my God, I remember you from the Steve Harvey Morning Show. But she has absolutely well, I don't want to say surpassed, but she has gone on to do bigger things, greater things, really, really enhance her platform. And, just giving her props here. She's an award-winning, best-selling author, top-rated broadcaster, television and radio personality, international transformational speaker, brand influencer, national spokesperson, and leading authority on personal finance, entrepreneurship, and success for women. So I am just excited to just be connected to Patrice. So again, thank you, Patrice. I'm looking forward to doing more with you, connecting with you, bringing value to your mastermind and whatever else God has in store for us, for us to partner. So that's that. also, big update, y'all. So literally as of yesterday, I checked my balances with the IRS and I checked the balances with the state of California because I had shared through this podcast the struggles, the strain, the frustration, the tears, the process that my husband and I have been going through in regards to our 2022 taxes. And y'all, to the glory of God, I told you about the abatement. I told you about just the blessing of being connected with that amazing agent who recognized the hardship of going through a layoff and all of those things that came along with 2022 to 2023. And so I will tell you, I'm gonna be shouting out a lot of businesses and a lot of folks that I partner with. I want to shout out to Brooks Alliance. Brooks Alliance, which is owned and managed by Shaquana Brooks. Many of you may have come across some of her social media. She also goes by Miss Business. And I've adopted her. She's mine. My personal tax person, Malaysia. Thank you so much for the care, for the consistency, for the timeliness, for the planning, for all the things that you have done to help me with my business, help me with my personal taxes, business taxes, and just, give me some amazing strategies to where I was able, y'all, to get and just get a refund that covered and then some the tax debt that was left between the state and the IRS. So they are at zero balance, y'all. When I tell you God is faithful, I tell you God is faithful. And I shared in the last episode how I was tempted to, hold off on my tithes a little bit, like stop tithing completely and, try to just put all my money to these particular bills. And yes, I could have done that. And yes, maybe a bill or two would be paid off, over these last couple of months. But that is not in alignment with the word of God. And I do my best to try to be as obedient as I possibly can be. I'm human, y'all human, right? I do my best. And I know the word says that the 10th is the Lord's. So, and let me correct myself because I believe I just said my tithes. It's the Lord's tithes. I don't own that. I don't own anything, to be honest. Like I just get to manage and be blessed by the paycheck that I get every, 2 weeks and the money that my husband brings in. We are blessed to be able to have that come through our hands through the God given jobs and opportunities that are given to us. But that 10th is the Lord's. It's his. And to take the 10th, to not give of the first fruits and to take the 10th and to utilize it, to have judgment over it, to make decisions over it is not my place to do. And the Bible talks about, having a curse on your money, as well. And I don't need that. I don't need no more. Not another nothing in regards to that. So I did my very best. I'm doing my very best to be faithful, stay faithful, really lean on the principle that doesn't make sense in the earthly realm, but that money going out brings money in. All right. Money going out of your hands, whether it be the Lord's tithes, giving, blessing someone, invites money to reciprocate and come back into your life. And so I believe that is exactly what is happening in this situation. I am really eager to have that rest of that money deposit in my account because there are some bills and there are some things that with that money we can absolutely tackle, that we can pay off, and some things that we want to do too, we're being careful. This is a really interesting time in our government and things. It's an interesting time. I could go on and on. So really being diligent and mindful about the money that we're spending, but also making sure that we are spending money wisely so that it is for the edification of our family, that we're able to enjoy our family, have a good time with each other. And, sometimes it takes a little bit of money to be able to do that, but that's an investment. That's an investment in time and in memory. So that's my IRS update, y'all. For those of you all that have listened and those of you all that have, given encouraging words, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for helping me stay faithful and stay focused and stay human through this process. But I told you, God always comes through. Not necessarily where you want him, right? But he always comes through. And so stay faithful. With that, I'm going to go ahead and transition to PrayerTrek. So, if you don't know about GirlTrek, I was introduced to GirlTrek through my sorority and through a sorority sister of mine. And GirlTrek is a wonderful organization. I'm going to pull them up over here. They're an amazing organization of women who really are about the health and wellness of women and being able to make our spaces in our neighborhoods. There we go. Our spaces in our neighborhoods friendly for walks, runs, fellowship, togetherness, and really owning those spaces in our neighborhoods. Being, paying attention to the walkability scores of your neighborhoods, things of that nature. So Girl Trek, I got connected with Girl Trek I'd say over the last couple of months because they did something called self-care school. And that's what my soror introduced me to. And what self-care school was, which is still accessible, I highly recommend it. Self-care school was so well done. It challenged you for a set number of days. I think it was 6, 7 weeks, 6 weeks, 10 weeks, 100 days. I'm not quite sure, but it was definitely a challenge to get out of your house, get into your neighborhoods, walk your neighborhoods for at least 30 minutes a day. But more than that, there was amazing content that was given. So you would, put self-care school in your ear and they would talk about everything from health and wellness, meditation, the music that we listen to. It came from, for people of my age to our younger generation and those that are in college. It talked about coping. They talked about finances. They talked about justice and protection and your rights if you're pulled over. I mean, there was so much good content. I couldn't possibly tell you every topic, but there was a topic that was solid. It was well thought out. It was edifying. It brought value where I looked forward to that 30 minutes every day. And it got me out of my house, or when there were days that I couldn't get out of my house, it got me onto my walk pad so that I could just give to me. And so, what I've been really focusing on in the last couple of months is thinking about future Janine. And I want to challenge y'all to do that too. And it don't have to be like future Janine in a rocking chair. I think about how do I take care of Janine tomorrow? Well, then I go ahead, or how do I take care of Janine throughout this next week? I'm going to go ahead, even though I do not feel like it. I want to go to bed. I want to sit on this couch. I want to binge, Abbott Elementary. But I'm going to get up and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to iron all my son's clothes, for school for the week. So that's something I'm not trying to do in the middle of the morning. That's something that's not added to our routine in the morning. So I'm taking care of future Janine and giving her a couple of minutes back. So maybe I get to sleep in just a few more minutes, or I do get up, but I get a little bit of a longer shower, or I get a slower morning. And so I'm thinking about myself intentionally in that way, but I'm also thinking about myself long term as well. So even where there's the areas of taking care of future Janine 10 years down the line or 20 years down the line, 25, 30 years, whenever I decide to, retire and take advantage of this wonderful leisurely life that a lot of people in my circle are starting to enjoy right now. Right now, I don't know that life. I don't have no reference to that of not knowing what day it is because you don't have nowhere to be but where you want to be. I'm looking forward to that. But, Girl Trek really gave me a great start of intention. And so I invite you to join Prayer Trek. And so if you go, I'm not partnered with GirlTrek at all. I'm literally just sharing this information from the bottom of my heart. But if you go to girltrek.org, you'll see that PrayerTrek is ongoing. It started on the 20th, so it just started this Monday. You can plug in and jump in whenever you want to. And they have a goal to get folks praying. I don't know what the duration of the minutes are or what have you, but literally to pray. And I would say, for where we are as a nation, where we are as a people, where we are financially, where we are with our job and our economy and the layoffs and all the turmoil and the things that are happening in the world, ain't no better thing to do than pray. And collective prayer, really feeling a part of something, that your prayers are not only are being heard by the Lord, but they're collectively in fellowship and they're in collective unity with others that are praying as well. So, yeah, they have an open invitation to walk, talk, and pray together. And I'm all about it. So I highly recommend register, get your value out of it. Like I said, shout out to GirlTrek and the women of GirlTrek. You all are doing an amazing thing. And I'm really, really happy to be a part of it. All right. In talking about taking care of your future self, the last thing that I'm going to check in with on you all is it is Estate Plan Awareness Week. Some of you all, just working on a budget, just working on getting your monies and your coins together, which is a prime number one, right? Because then you know how to count your coins and understand what's going out, what's staying in, and what you have left to do, saving or investing or what have you with. But there's a couple things that I will actually put on your mind to look into because our time on this earth is not promised. We do not know the day, we do not know the time, we don't know the year when the Lord may call us home. And so, if building wealth and disrupting poverty, shout out to Mr. Bill Wealth, Jasper out there, his tagline. If that is really important to you, if it's important to you to leave a legacy or leave something behind for your children and for your family members, it's really important for you to think about estate planning. It's important for you all to think about, putting, if you own a home or property, putting those things in a trust so that your family members, number one, are not held up in court. If you do not have a trust and you do not have specific instructions on how your property, your belongings, those things, your children will be taken care of, all of those things can be actually done in a trust, and you can choose whether you want to have an irrevocable trust or a revocable trust. If you are living, breathing, and you are, of a younger age, then I would highly recommend a revocable trust where you can go in, you can make changes. If there's somebody you put in the trust, you decide to take them out the trust, you can do this. You could put more things in your trust if you acquire more property. It is a flexible living trust that you manage and that you can make changes in, however you need to. Let me say that. And an irrevocable trust, I'm sure you guess, it is one that you cannot do that. You cannot make changes. You cannot um, uh, affect any of the changes after it's been put in place. And so maybe that might be something that's best for someone that's older, that's not going to acquire any additional property, that's not going to have any additional children, that, it is what it is, or, this is going to this particular charity, foundation, organization, what have you. Let me give you a caveat. I am not a trust attorney. I am not trained in trust. I'm literally just speaking to you based on my experience, and the fact that we have a family trust. And so I highly recommend that you find, do your research, find a trust attorney, find an entity that creates trust and wills, and have a conversation, get some knowledge, do some research. Really, really important to do that. The other thing in regards to uh, estate planning week, and I want to pull this up here so that I can share this with y'all. Let's see. We talked about trust. I talked a little bit about a will. A will is great to have. But it does not mean that you will not go through probate. So that's important that you do talk to a professional. I have both, and I have a pour over will. So all of these things, do your research. This would be a long podcast if went into all of that. But thinking about, who do you want to be power of attorney if you are not able to handle your affairs, if there is an illness or you get in an accident and you are incapacitated for a certain amount of time, who would you like to make sure that they are the ones that carry out your desires, handles your trust, handles your affairs for you when you are not able to? Um, it is just a way really to take care of not only your future self in this situation, but the future of those that you love and you care about. Because when we do not do the due diligence and make the plans while we are living, our family unfortunately bears the burden of the things that we don't do. And so probate costs money, fees, time. Oh my goodness. And another thing, y'all, put your pay upon death beneficiaries on your bank accounts. Make sure you have beneficiaries that are actually identified on your 401ks, your insurance policies, your savings accounts. Whatever you have in place, make sure that you have someone that's identified where that money will go. Because if you do not have beneficiaries that are actually identified, and something happens to you or you pass, that money goes to wherever it goes. I don't know, unclaimed money land, limbo, but it does not go to your family members if you do not identify a beneficiary. So these are all really great topics to talk about with your attorney, or if you search and have a conversation with a trust attorney, but do your due diligence. Don't procrastinate. Procrastination robs us. It robs us of our wealth. It robs us of options. It robs us of choice because we just don't want to do what don't want to do. And so think about it. Take a tip from me. Take care of your tomorrow self. Take care of yourself 10 years later from now. But even if we don't want to do it for ourselves, take care of your kiddos. Think about their faces. Take care of your husbands. Take care of your wives, to make sure that they are okay in your absence. So that was really top of mind for me, is how does everything keep going? How does the home and the mortgage keep getting paid? How do we make sure, if something happens to myself or my husband or what have you, how do we make sure that there's still money in place for, our youngest to have options for college? Think about your future self. Think about the future selves of these wonderful people in your family and your friends who you love and you want to take care of. All right, y'all. So that was a lot. That was a lot, but it's a good episode. It's a blessed episode. And I hope that what I've shared has blessed you, has given you some things to think about and some things to do. So I really hope that you consider joining PrayerTrek, that you look out and reach out to GirlTrek and see the amazing work that they're doing. And let's pray for this country. Let's pray for each other as brothers and sisters. And let's pray for those who don't have a hope and don't know Jesus Christ. Reach out. Somebody you may not have talked to for a long time. If you're going to church, invite them to church. If it's just a Bible study or a conversation or just a testimony of how great God has been to you, how faithful he's been. Reach out, make it a point to do that before the end of this week. All right, y'all. God bless. I'm really happy to be on video with you all. And I will definitely be talking to you soon. Have a great and wonderful rest of your October. And I'll see you in November.